Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Vivek, and today I am with you again with another novel, the writings. But today I'm going to discuss a book by Tejaswini Dev. It's a Dalit writing. It's not a novel, but yes, it's a Dalit writing. And the name of the book is Journeying into the Light, a study of Dalit women's life, narratives by Dr. Tejaswini Dev. This is the book I'm going to discuss today, and I have read this book. This is the book I want to show you that I'm going to discuss today. So, as I told you, this is Dalit writing, and let's get started. Women in India to publish their personal narratives as early as the second half of the 19th century and the early 20th century means women in India started to write about their personal narratives starting from the second half of the 19th century and means very late it started. These women concurred with the reformers in identifying women's principal problems as those of child marriage, treatment of widows, and education for women. These are the main problems that they were discussing in Indian writing. Some famous autobiographies of women autobiographies. First one is Gina Amuche by Baby Kamle, Ratnadin Ama by Shantabai Dani. Third one is Mitleli Kawade by Mukta Sarvagod. Fourth one is Antas Food by Kumut Pawade. Fifth one is Majia Jalmachi by Chitrakatha by Shantabai Kamle. Maran Kala by Jana by Girhe. Seventh one is Adore by Najub by Gavid. Eighth one is Aidan by Urmila Pawar. And ninth one is Teen Danchi by Chul by Vimal More. So these are the important Dalit women writing autobiographies, especially they were expressing their life, their problems, their difficulties in their lives. They were discussing in these women's autobiographies. The idea that autobiography can become the text of the oppressed. Why they were writing in autobiographies only? Because they think that. The through this is the only way through which they can express uh, uh, their feelings, their emotions better in rather than other genre. It is a commonplace observation that these narratives differ from the life stories of upper caste women in form, content, purpose, and ideological grounds. Though women writing upper women writing were there, but what Dalit women identified that the upper caste they are different in their writings in the form, content, purpose, and ideological grounds. That's why they started writing about them in their own works. It is argued that the autobiographical form has been used by these communities to assert their right to grow, bid for freedom and equality. And as I told you, this is the best genre. Autobiographies, they find the best genre in which they can assert their right to grow, bid for freedom and equality. That's why they started writing autobiographies. Women's subjectivity is a new awareness of Dalit history, beginning with Jyotiba Phule, Savitribai Phule, Tarabai Shinde, and going to Ambedkar and social struggles he led in 1930s and 40s. So this started with these women writings, women reformers, and it reached at height by Ambedkar and his social struggle in 30s and 40s. There are more than 400 jatis among the scheduled caste in the country. And there are so many, there were the SC community, scheduled caste communities were divided in different jatis, and 400 jatis, at Shah said. As an ideological system, an aspect of religion, caste for them was about status and social hierarchy. Means caste means low caste, low status, and social hierarchy. In social hierarchy, these SCs, these communities come at the lower, very lowest level. Ambedkar believed that education opens out new avenues, and that the Dalits should have access to them. Ambedkar's message is very, very energetic or very powerful message it was throughout his life. He gave, that is, unite, educate, and agitate, was being followed by more and more people. Ambedkar, along with million fellow SCs belonging mainly to Meher caste, converted to Buddhism in 1950s. That was a very transformative event that happened in Dalit writing, Dalit reformation. It happened. Along with Ambedkar, they converted into Buddhism, because in Hindus they were at the lower level uh, of society, and they were treated as like nothing, or as the lowest strata of society. So they find the Buddhism as the best way to find dignity, to find respect in society. Marathi Dalit writer Urmila Pawar says, "The community I belong to, the family I was born into, did not know much about education. Even their family did not know, their in their community they did not know about education. What is education all about?" Dalit women have found the genre of autobiography or life narrative as the most conducive to assert and articulate their identity and self respect. As I already said, this is the best genre they find to assert their identity, their self respect. Early feminist quote Tulsidas couplet, ढोल गंवार शूद्र अधिनारी सब हैं ताड़न के अधिकारी. That mean the drum, the peasant, women all deserve regular beating. This kind of attitude they had uh, uh, at that period of time, and that was very, very, very disgusting, or very low kind of thing that was happening, and nobody was protesting. And this protest, through Dalit writing, they protested, and they tried to elevate their status by this Dalit writing or Dalit reformation happened. Fully addressed the problem of Brahmin widowhood by pleading for their remarriage. Fully addressed the problem of Brahmin widowhood in their writings, in his writings, pleading for their remarriage. Ambedkar sees organic links between the struggle against the caste system and the struggle for liberation of women. Means if the caste system will be reformed, than the liberation of women. They are similar. There is a link between the caste system and the liberation of women. So if the caste system will be eradicated or when changes would come in the caste system, then automatically the liberation of women would happen. Uh, Dalit women are more likely to face the collective and public threat of rape, sexual assault, and physical violence at the workplace and among public. They find more in compared to upper caste. They find Dalit women find the threat of rape, sexual assault, physical violence at workplace and among public, because the base is only that they belong to a lower caste or lower strata of society. That's why, because of caste system, it was happening to them. Dalit feminists have formulated the position of three-way oppression of Dalit women. They find Dalit feminists find that three-way oppression is happening in society, in Indian society. Three ways means not only three one way it was happening. This exploitation, this oppression was happening, but it was three-way, three parts or through three ways it was happening. The first way was a subject of caste oppression at the hands of upper caste. Definitely, it was through upper caste, women were oppressing the women as Dalit. Second oppression of Dalit writing was Dalit women was as laborers, subject to the class-based oppression. Means as a laborer, they comes at the lower level of society. So also mainly at the hands of the upper and middle caste, who form the bulk of landowners. Through landowners at a workplace as a laborer, they were finding the oppression, they were finding the exploitation at as a laborer. Third was as women who experience patriarchal oppression. As women find a different kind of oppression. Women, as a women itself, they were finding more exploitation rather than the upper caste women. As women who experience patriarchal oppression at the hands of all man, including the man of their caste, even their men of their own caste, they were finding or they were experiencing this exploitation. So this was three interlocking systems of caste, untouchability, and patriarchy. Means as a caste, they were finding oppression, exploitation. As untouchability, because they were at the lower strata or lower caste they had. So that's why they were experiencing this exploitation. And third is patriarchy, means as a man they were also by the man it was the Dalit women were finding this oppression or exploitation in Indian society. So somewhere I can say it was happening, and there was no change. No, I would not say no, but yes, there's a change, but not in villages. There was though I find personally I can say that in cities or metropolitan cities there is mm, less exploitation on the basis of caste, but in villages at lower at the outskirts of cities or in at the places where still somewhere where the higher caste people were dominating. So or traditional ways of living is there. So there you can still find this the same pattern of exploitation still after 70 or 80 years of independence. We are not able to change in the lives of Dalit women or Dalit man also. Especially, I'm here to discuss about the Dalit women. So I hope change would come, and I firmly believe that that will happen. Definitely, nobody can stop that change. But what about this time? This what's happening there after so many years of independence? We are not able to eradicate. We cannot say that it has been eradicated. Why it's not eradicated still after 70 years? So we should change our mindset of the people of especially the upper caste man. We have to change our mindset for these Dalit women in society. So thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching.